Z Fold 6 or S24 Ultra? Interesting question, which I actually get asked a lot because as soon as one of these phones comes out, it's always somebody owns one. Should I get the other? Last year it was, hey, I've got the Z Fold 5. Should I get the S24 Ultra? Or now it's, I've got the S24 Ultra. Should I get the Z Fold 6? The answer is probably going to be no, but let's entertain this. Let's step out of reality into the land of Narnia real quick and we'll have some discussion on this. So, not to insult anyone's intelligence, but when it comes to the phones, there's one critical difference: folding phone, normal phone. And you usually want one or the other, but I get it. The grass is always greener on the other side. We get FOMO, we get this exciting stuff. We're on the 6th generation of the Z Fold now. And yeah, it's kind of cool to have a phone that does this, but also does this. It's like the mullet, business in the front and then party whenever it's open, party in the back. It's one of those things where it's something cool. It's something that's different. And we've been living in this smartphone world for a long time where some folks may have only ever used something that looks like this. So you look at it, you get, hey, Samsung, they make reliable stuff. They've been doing this for a while. They're pretty credible. There's lots of glaring and amazing reviews out there on the internet. So you think, hey, maybe I should ditch my S24 Ultra or S23 Ultra, your former slab phone, and jump on over to the Fold Life. Lots of people have done that, and lots of people have been happy doing that. And lots of people have decided they didn't want that. But here's the one nice caveat, and this is not a sales gimmick, not anything. If you get it from Samsung, you have 2 weeks to try it out, and then you can return it back guilt-free if you decide that you don't want it. So if you do decide you want to jump on board and do something like that, definitely, I think, go the Samsung route or maybe Amazon. Don't go through Best Buy, don't go through your carrier unless you've got a great deal you can take advantage of because they charge you a restocking fee. And you can get carrier models through Samsung, just throwing it out there. So that's one of those things. There's risk inherent that in switching over to something like this. You have this ultra thin glass, which is basically just really, really thin layers of plastic, kind of, and it's much more sensitive. It's something that's much easier to damage, and much to people's not so happiness is there's this crease down the middle of it. Obviously, there's no crease right here in this phone. It's a flat slab, 6.8 inches as opposed to 7.6 inches, right? So you're probably wondering, why aren't you talking about specs? Why aren't you talking about blah, blah, blah? Look, that's not why you're looking at this phone. That's not why you're looking at leaving one for the other. If you're looking at the Z Fold 6, it's probably because you want to try something new. You want to get away from this. You've been a fan of the Note or you've been a fan of the S23, 24 Ultra series, and you want to try something different, something that gives you the same power, something that gives you the same reliability, and now the same level of support, 7 years. So the Z Fold 6 and the Z Flip 6 brought us 7 years of operating system updates, 7 years of security patches. So now they're both on par, both of them the same. One UI 6.1, they've got the AI, they've got the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3. When you look at these phones under the hood, they're basically the same. 12 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 8 Generation 3. The variance that you get, of course, is in the charging, the battery size, and the cameras. Other than that, it's pretty much going to be the same experience other than you have different S Pens. So you have the real S Pen inside of the S24 Ultra. It has a little slot on the inside. It connects with the Bluetooth. It has all the air gestures. You can use it as a shutter. You can do all that cool stuff with it. When you get the one that's on the Z Fold 5, it doesn't come with, or the Z Fold 6, it doesn't come with it. You have to buy this slim case with the S Pen to get it, which is like 70 bucks, and that's on top of your $1,899 phone. And that's a spicy meatball. The price got jumped up on both of them this year, $1,299, $1,899. So you're looking at a $600 difference between the two of these phones. So it's one of those things where you're like, all right, am I in it to win it? Like, am I that dedicated to go and do it? And of course, they still have decent trade-in deals. They had some amazing trade-in deals. Maximum was like $1,200, and then step downs even for previous folds, like the Z Fold 5, they were giving $1,200. The Z Fold 4, they were giving $1,000. Z Fold 3, they were giving $900. And they had decent trade-in for the S24 Ultra as well. So when you take a look at this, it's really a proposition of, do I want to give up the slab life, the cookie cutter slab life, and move over to this or not? And there's some cool things that go for it. I mean, it does have dated cameras. I mean, it has new ultra wide, but at the end of the day, it has the 50 megapixel camera that's basically been around since the S22. So we're looking at a much better camera system over here. We've got the 5x telephoto, the 3x telephoto, and we've got the 200 megapixel camera. And the 5x telephoto is new this year. Replace the 10x telephoto. So you can still do your super zoom, 100x zoom. You can still do all that stuff. You can take great intermediate portrait shots. You can take good intermediate shots because you got the 1x camera, which is normal, the 2x digital crop, which is optical quality, 3x zoom, and then the 5x. So you're pretty much loaded for bear in the camera photo taking department. Whereas over here, we have basically 3-year-old camera system, almost. So, but it takes good photos. And that's the thing. And the photos this year with the Z Fold 6, there've been some changes with the image signal processor, been some changes in how they're doing the processing. So it looks a little bit more natural, a little bit brighter, a little bit better with the HDR, a little bit more clear and low light photos. And that's one of the beauties of adding a new chip. Yes, you have the same camera, the same sensor, but the way that data is handled, manipulated, processed, and finished, it's all handled on the chip. So they can still make better photos even though it's an older camera. And we saw this with the Pixel phones. The Pixel had the same camera from the Pixel 3, 4, and the 5. And then they even put it in the 6A as well. So it was a very good camera. It won a lot of awards many, many years in a row, even using the same camera. So usually in about 2, maybe 3 years of life out of these primary cameras now. We had the 108 megapixel camera for the longest time. The S23 Ultra brought us the first 200 megapixel, and the second iteration of it is in here. And it's not been without its issues too. They had issues with HDR, issues with graininess, issues with low light, like all these things, they got to get them dialed in. And I've said this for years, when you get a camera with the Sony phone, what you get at the end of the year is not the same as what you get at the beginning of the year. After about 3, 4 months, a couple different patches, they really do tune them in pretty good. So fundamentally, like I said, performance is going to be the same, but there are differences. Of course, you've got the real glass here. We've got Gorilla Glass Victus armor, and you've got the anti-reflective coating built into it. You can get the anti-reflective coating screen protector. Fantastic for games. It's a very traditional setting because you're going to be holding the phone like this, and we're very used to playing phones like this. We're very used to putting controllers on it. And you can do gaming, you can do your multitasking, but when you want to look at some really elevated gaming and multitasking, you want this guy right here, because when you have this big screen, imagine playing Call of Duty Warzone on this big screen like this, as opposed to like this. So you get benefits that way. You get benefits for watching videos. You get benefits for multitasking, having multiple windows open at the same time instead of split screen, right? So those are just some of the things. They both have decks. They both have wireless decks. They both have 15-watt wireless charging, 4.5-watt reverse wireless charging. They both have wired charging, but the Z Fold is 25 watts. The S24 Ultra is 45 watts. So not a whole lot of changes there. We got IP68 with the S24 Ultra. We got IP48, which the 4 is kind of meaningless. It protects up to objects up to 1 millimeter in size from getting in the hinge. So whoo, really impressive there. But the 8 is impressive. It's got a special coating in there, so you still get the same level of water resistance as the S24 Ultra. Speakers are both great. The screens are beautiful, bright, lots of nits, brightness, all that crazy stuff, 2600 nits brightness on both of them. So they've upped the quality in that department. You've got the under the screen camera here, which is, well, not that great, but it's 4 megapixel. It's okay. The selfie camera is definitely better on the outside, and it is better on the S24 Ultra. So largely what it comes down to, price. Do you want to pay an additional $600 for something like this? Also, if you've already bought an S24 Ultra, you're going to be losing money going through the trade-in process because they're not going to give you $1,300. That's what you paid for it. And then you're going to have to pay the extra price on top of that. So that's one thing to consider. 2 is you got to go to a different level of phone. You have more vulnerabilities with this phone. And I think they're pretty well made. I have not had any physical problems with these phones. I've had every Z Fold, every Z Flip. The only issue I ever had with the Z Fold was my Z Fold 2. And I got this weird red line that went down the screen. I sent it into Amazon. It was, or not Amazon, but Samsung, covered under the manufacturer's warranty. I got it back in a couple of weeks. It was fine. I didn't have to pay anything. But insurance is definitely a big consideration. If you want to get one of these, I highly recommend you get the insurance. They had a deal during the pre-order where you could get a year free of insurance if you got a carrier model through Samsung. I don't know if that still holds true, but definitely check that out if you're interested. And yeah, really it just comes down to the experience. One thing I like about the S24 Ultra is you get a big screen to use all the time, but this is a very big screen. It's a big, heavy phone. It definitely feels like it. This phone feels like a brick, quite frankly. And the Z Fold feels kind of like a brick too, but in another way, but the front screen is nice when you want a big screen presence, but it's also a little unwieldy. And then sometimes you just want to do simple one-handed stuff. It's great for this. And then with the Z Fold 6, they made it just slightly smaller, just slightly wider, just slightly narrow, thinner, all that stuff. And it's the best, flattest, lightest version of the Z Fold yet. And they made improvements there. I still think the front screen is a little small, especially when you use something like a OnePlus Open, a Pixel Fold. I mean, look at this. Pixel Fold versus the Z Fold 6. I mean, the Pixel Fold has a huge front screen on it. Same thing with the OnePlus Open, the Xiaomi Mi Fold, and all that crazy stuff. So it's still on the shorter side. They still on the smaller side in that department, but Samsung, they don't really iterate this enough other than like their training and their reviewing materials. The interior screen is considered the front screen, like the main screen. And that's contrary to typical thought process, because normally you grab the phone, you look at the front screen, and you're like, all right, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to use. This is the primary screen. This is the secondary screen. Just as with the Z Flip 6, the exterior screen is the secondary screen, or with the Motorola Razr Plus, the exterior screen is a secondary screen. This is a primary screen. If you're not interested in using this real estate, you should probably just stick with this. But if you want to come over to the other side, you want to have this huge landscape and real estate for doing your gaming, doing your multitasking. Heck, it's nice just to browse the internet on. I mean, it's so nice. You pull up Twitter, you pull up Chrome, you pull up Instagram. Like, you can rock multiple different apps at once, or have one big full-scale app. And it really is nice. It's kind of like having that tablet experience in your pocket. So a lot of people might find this not so helpful as a video, but I do have really a lot of people go in the comment section. They go, okay, should I get rid of my S24 Ultra for a Z Fold? And I go, look, if you want to try the new form factor, if you want to have a big screen, if you want to have the big screen multitasking S Pen experience, go for it. And yeah, it is expensive. If you can afford it, though, I mean, you're probably looking at it because you can afford it, not trying to push anyone to the side that can't. I mean, these are really expensive. It's not a knock on anybody. A lot of folks don't see the benefit of buying a $500 phone, much less a $1,800 phone, right? $1,899. That's a spicy meatball. So it's one of those things where you look at it, it really is both of these phones are luxury commodities. I mean, carriers have made it much more affordable, but if you had to go out and spend $1,300 or $1,900 plus tax, a lot of people really have second thoughts about that stuff. So the trade-in deals are paramount. That helps out a lot. Financing stuff, getting it through a carrier, or if you paid for your other phone already when you trade it in and get that level of credit, that helps out a lot. So it really is like, look, do you want a big battery? This one has a 5,000 milliamp battery as opposed to 4,400. So you got a big battery, big screen all the time, and then you got the better stylus, you get the better camera system, right? So this is the ultimate. This is the Ultra whenever it comes to an Android phone. The ultimate Android experience that Samsung has to offer. And this is the party in the front, or business in the front, party on the inside when you open it up. And really, once you get used to having something like this, it's hard to go back. And I have issues when I deal with this, because I'll have one phone, I come out for a little while, I'm like, all right, cool, I got used to using this, and then I get used to using this, and it's like, it's hard to go back. You know, that's why I have so many SIM cards and I cover so many different phones. But I do enjoy foldable phones. I love them. The Z Fold 5 was my favorite foldable phone of last year. I made lots of videos about it. I will be covering this one extensively. I already made a video a couple days ago talking about like 15 tips and tricks to use for the phone to set it up, and different things you can do to make your foldable life experience better. But yeah, it's one of those things where you just need to follow your gut. What do you want? Do you want something exciting that maybe could make you a little happier and give you some more fun with your phone again? Because we all know this is not very exciting anymore. We've reached peak smartphone years ago, and we just keep getting these retreads, rehashes, reworks of the same thing over and over and over. So it's not really all that exciting anymore. Something like this is pretty darn exciting. It's fun. And I tell you what, when you get one of these and the first couple of times you open up the screen, it's just massive, and it's this fun experience kind of all over again. But even after time, I mean, that does fade away a little bit. But overall, I think they both have great places in the phone world. I think they have kind of separate and distinct audiences. But right now, I think we're in that place where people are trying to find it. The phones are trying to find their audience. And ultimately is, do you want this, which is a no compromises phone, or do you want this, which is more fun, exciting, multitasking, bigger screen, but has a few compromises? Because, you know, the battery's not as big, doesn't have IP68, doesn't have 45-watt charging, you know, it doesn't have 200 megapixel camera. So there's some of that stuff. But fret not. It does take pretty darn good pictures, and I think the form factor and the experience makes up for some of the shortfalls you might otherwise have. But again, 7 years of support for both of them now, so it makes it less and less of an issue to jump from one to the other. So that's all I got. Hopefully I offered some insight that somebody who uses and tests out both of these phones and has used them for years, maybe I could help you out with making that purchasing decision if you're interested. And if you enjoyed the video, of course, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.